This video is the first in a series looking at the structure and function of an important group of organic macromolecules called the proteins. This first video will focus on the core structure of the protein, and specifically the fact that proteins are polymers composed of a type of monomer called the amino acid. There are 20 different amino acids used to build each protein, and each protein consists of a unique sequence of amino acids from that set of 20. What we want to focus on here is simply the core structure of amino acids in general. So the first thing to note with amino acid structure is all amino acids are built with a central carbon atom. Now notice in the center of your screen, I'm going to show you a ball and stick cartoon diagram of an amino acid, but in the four corners I'm going to be building formal molecular models of four specific amino acids just to show you how the simplified cartoon translates into a real molecular diagram. So we start with the central carbon, and on one side of that central carbon we have an amino group, and the covalent bond opposite the amino group is with a carboxyl group. Right here we have the molecule's name. They're called amino acids because they have on opposite sides of a central carbon the amino group, which you should recall acts as a base, and the carboxyl group, which you should recall acts as an acid. A separate topic down the line will look at how proteins inherently behave as weak acids or weak bases depending on environmental conditions. So we start with an amino on one side and a carboxyl on the other. At the remaining two covalent bonds around that central carbon, we have a hydrogen atom. And opposite the hydrogen atom is what's called the side chain. It's abbreviated here with the letter R. There is no element for the letter R. There are 20 different amino acids, and all 20 of them have something different in this R position or have a different side chain. The side chain can be as simple as another hydrogen atom. It can be a short chain structure. It can be a longer chain structure. It could be a complex structure involving rings. The bottom line is the side chain is different for each amino acid. Now notice when we draw our diagrams here, recall that in molecular diagrams, we don't typically show the hydrogens, but there's our amino acid. An amino opposite a carboxyl around a central carbon, and a hydrogen opposite the side chain in the remaining two positions. And realize you don't want to focus too much on this specific cartoon and start thinking amino left and carboxyl right, because the truth of the matter is, as your screen is showing you, there's different ways these can be drawn reflecting the fact that amino acids don't exist in a fixed position. The reality is what makes an amino acid is the fact that it has an amino group opposite a carboxyl group around a central carbon with a hydrogen and a side chain occupying the other two positions. In the next video, we'll start looking at how we categorize these amino acids based on their side chain chemistry.